Vietnam jumps 23 places in Economic Freedom Index. And creative ways of working in COVID-19 pandemic time.
Hello there, you're tuning into Bizline on VTV International. I'm Hoàng Hằng, and as usual, we will begin with some economic highlights over the past week.
Vietnam jumped 23 places from last year to reach 58.8 points, ranking 105th place in the Economic Freedom Index in the Heritage Foundation's 2020 Index of Economic Freedom report. The country's overall score has increased by 3.5 points due to a dramatic gain in fiscal health. Vietnam is ranked 21st among 42 countries in the Asia-Pacific region, and its overall score is slightly below the regional and world averages. The Vietnamese economy has gradually been climbing the ranks since 2011. Strong GDP growth over the past 5 years has mirrored this improvement, driven by export-focused manufacturing and processing sectors. According to the report, economic freedom will be enhanced in Vietnam if the government can successfully expand economic liberalization by promoting international trade and restructuring state-owned enterprises.
In the first 2 months of this year, the export turnover of garments and textile products reached $5.3 billion, down 3.5% year-on-year. The supply of raw materials basically meet production demand for March and April. However, the sector is facing a lot of difficulties as the world economy is affected seriously by the COVID-19, resulting in a decrease in global demand. Vietnam's garment and textile export fetched $39 billion in 2019, up 7.55% over the previous year, but $1 billion lower than the target. The industry aims to achieve an export turnover of about $42 billion this year.
Starting from March the 17th, the State Bank of Vietnam, or SBV, will cut its policy rates in an attempt to support the economy amid the COVID-19 outbreak. A 0.5 to 1% reduction applies to refinancing interest rates, rediscount interest rates applicable to overnight loans, and interest via open market operations. The SBV also lowered the interest rate cap to 4.75% annually from 5% for deposits with maturities of 1 month to less than 6 months. The deposit interest rate cap with maturities of less than 1 month is reduced from 0.8% to 0.5% per annum. The SBV also ordered banks to lower the maximum lending rate for short-term loans to 5.5% from 6%, aiming to help companies operating in the fields of agriculture, high-tech industries, exports, and others.
To implement the Prime Minister's directions on urgent solutions to help businesses overcome difficulties caused by the COVID-19, the Ministry of Finance has issued Circular 14 to reduce fees for 15 security-related services. Accordingly, the 6 services that don't require fees include listing services, security registration, first-time online connection services, securities borrowing and lending services via VSD system, member registration of derivative trading, and registered members clearing. This policy will expire in August of this year.
Supermarkets in Vietnam are boosting their doorstep delivery services to meet consumers' demand, as many are avoiding crowded places during the COVID-19 pandemic. Saigon Co-op in Ho Chi Minh City, for example, started encouraging customers to place their orders via phone calls from Monday. People only need to call or send a message with a list of goods to one of 800 stores in this supermarket chain, and the products will be delivered to their home. Lotte Mart is also boosting online shopping via its mobile app, while Big C launched a hotline for orders to be placed. Similarly, Vinmart is promoting home deliveries via phone call. Supermarket chains have increased their stock by 40% with focus on essential goods.
In the first 2 months of this year, Vietnam's total pork imports have doubled compared to the same period last year. According to a recent report of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, the world pork supply hasn't recovered. Therefore, the ministry has requested related agencies to support enterprises in searching for sources of pork import. The Ministry of Finance is to consider reducing taxes for imported pork in the coming time, while the State Bank of Vietnam will issue a policy to lower lending interest rate for pork import enterprises.
Those are some highlights in Vietnam's economic scene. Up next, we will take a look at creative solutions for enterprises to cope during the COVID-19 pandemic in our crosstalk. COVID-19 pandemic has changed the way people work, communicate, and study. For example, working from home or online learning are two specific examples that are being applied in this pandemic time. They are certainly not a new thing. However, with the COVID-19 pandemic, these types of working and learning seem like effective solutions for many companies. It also gives people a chance to try a new way of learning and new way of work. How fast have Vietnamese companies adapted to this new solution trend, and how far will this trend go after the pandemic ease off? Our Bizline this week tries to find out.
At the global level, according to Business Insider, at least 31 large multinational corporations have encouraged their employees to work from home and cancelled unnecessary business trips to the outbreak areas. Recently, Apple has allowed 12,000 employees of Apple Park headquarters to work from home. Microsoft, LinkedIn, or Twitter also followed the same move. The International Monetary Fund, or IMF, on March the 9th announced that for the first time, all of its employees would be working from home on March 13th to test systems in case the COVID-19 epidemic gets worse. The World Bank has also been testing remote work procedures on a smaller scale. Earlier, the IMF and the World Bank announced that their spring meetings in April would be held virtually as the COVID-19 epidemic is spreading in many different countries and territories in the world. In Vietnam, the trend of remote working has been triggered on a large scale in many businesses. B Group, the parent company of the B ride-hailing app, continues to apply the remote working model to employees on the second phase. This company allows employees to work from home from March the 16th until further notice. From March the 15th to March the 22nd, Tiki also allows thousands of office workers nationwide to work from home. According to the survey, many other large companies such as Unilever, AB InBev, and Bosch also activate policies for office workers to work from home.
We invited to our studio today Mr. Trần Quang Hưng, curator of Global Shaper Community World Economic Forum, and he is also venture partner Vina Capital Ventures, to discuss the issue. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
First of all, as an entrepreneur and also partner with many companies and startups, how do you view this trend of a remote work or working from home in Vietnam?
COVID-19 is obviously a big challenge to a lot of companies, let alone the small and medium-sized enterprises that we have a lot in Vietnam. So besides buying the insurance for employees, a lot of companies are catching up with this pandemic by reducing the time of working directly at the office. Some companies allow up to 100% almost of people to work from home. Some try 50%, others are doing 20%. Kyber Network try 50% working from home. Your Box, that's a company that we invested in, has 20% working from home. Fastgo is another example. They allow all the working level personnel to work at home, and all the leads, C-level or head of departments to be in the office. So there's a wide range of reaction to this pandemic.
What about any type of fields that are more likely to be able to work from home?
Obviously, you cannot do hospitality or service but internet companies, companies with lots of coders, you can do that because you can, chop off the sort of the workload and you distribute it to different people. And then you use GitHub or Monday.com, applications like that to sort of compose them together. So anything that relates to online business will tend to be more, easier to use this method.
From your opinion, how fast have companies in Vietnam switched to this new trend to protect the company's revenue and also people health in the context of COVID-19?
Companies are, well aware of the fact that if they allow everyone to work just normally, then even if just one case is diagnosed with COVID-19, then it's going to be a big problem. Then everyone is going to be quarantined and the business will be in huge trouble because then you have to work not only from home but from quarantine places with not so guaranteed Wi-Fi and all the working condition that you require.
For the past 3 weeks, this startup has closed its office and let 100% of its employees work from home. Thanks to the preparation of proper software that allows this business to launch remote working mode, communication with branches in Korea, Germany, and Singapore is still maintained as usual. Customer transaction flow is significantly reduced because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Kiểu như mình làm những cái app hoặc là những cái module nhỏ cho những cái app lớn khác, thì hiện nay thì các công ty nước ngoài họ cũng đang là rất là nhức đầu trong cái việc mà tìm kiếm nhân sự làm những cái dự án nhỏ như thế này. Những cái mối này thì mình sẽ không cần phải làm việc trực tiếp, bởi vì thực ra là họ cũng là ví dụ như từ Thụy Điển, từ Phần Lan, gọi điện qua mạng đối với người ta thì để trao đổi công việc vậy là được.
This company of 17 employees have switched completely to a remote working model 2 years ago. This has helped the company save up about $11,000 per year on office costs. It also shows its advantage in pandemic time like this COVID-19.
Thì cái quan trọng nhất đó chính là cái tư duy. Tư duy đầu tiên của người lãnh đạo, sau đó tư duy của các bạn nhân viên là có đồng lòng với nhau sử dụng cái mô hình này hay không. Tại vì khi mà làm cái này thì nó cũng có những cái gọi quy tắc mà mình phải định trước với nhau.
According to businesses, for the remote working model to work, technology is not the most important factor. In fact, the most important thing is to build the corporate culture in which the discipline of each individual is promoted.
Ở trên cả thế giới vẫn có hơn 100.000 du học sinh Việt Nam ở khắp mọi nơi. Ai cũng muốn cống hiến cho quê hương, cho đất nước hết. Cái chính là gì? Họ ngần ngại những cái như là không biết về đây làm phù hợp hay không. Họ không biết là cái môi trường văn hóa có tốt hay không, mức lương có được đãi ngộ tốt hay không. Thì rõ ràng nếu mà các công ty Việt Nam tận dụng cái cơ hội này, sẵn là team mình đã phải chia ra khắp nơi và mọi người đã phải làm việc từ xa, thì có thể tiếp cận luôn cái nguồn tri thức từ nước ngoài.
A new study by the Our Labs organization in the United States stated that up to 24% of employees in the US are working remotely. Each earns more than $100,000 a year, while the rate of the group working directly in the office is 3 times lower, only accounts for about 7%.
COVID-19 pandemic have forced people to become more innovative in the ways that they communicate nowadays. Besides work from home, I believe online teaching, online learning is another trend. So what can you tell us about this trend?
I think it's very necessary for the kids, all learners in general. All the schools stopped teaching for a while. So we need to have a new way to educate people. And private schools like Yola and other schools in both Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City have tried that. They use e-learning and try to merge it with the programs, the offline programs that they had before. And I think it's going to be a huge push towards e-learning and more digital way of accumulating knowledge. And it's a very positive trend. Like a few years before, Alibaba cannot be a huge sensation today if not for SARS. I think educational institutions should treat this pandemic as an opportunity and not just a problem to deal with.
What are the challenges and benefits of this work from home model and e-learning that we can think of at the moment?
One of the toughest problem for working from home model is how you do timekeeping. Because normally when you see someone coming to the office, then you know that he's there or she's there. And then you can look at the screen to know what he or she is working on. But then working from home is different, right? You can't see the screen, you don't see when the people come and go. So then you need a specific feature called GPS, timekeeping. So then employees can log on to some platform, and then they just say that I'll start working, and then I finish this project or this part of work by this time. And then when you get to see all the timing, then you even have a bigger chance to manage people's work than before. So I think it's just one example of how working from home can benefit everyone, and it can add to the future merged model of online and offline working. It can save a lot for companies, in terms of working space and travel time and everything. It could be in terms of billions of dollars in the future. But at this time, we need to solve its problems first. And even e-learning, it has a lot of opportunity. It's a multi-billion or multi-trillion dollar industry that is the last to be revolutionized. So let's follow the example of Alibaba and Amazon and a lot of companies that have come out winning after pandemics and be a little bit more active and proactive in this time.
What industry do you think will benefit the most from this new trend?
Well, a whole lot of companies are working on the digitalized work field that will benefit. In Vietnam, we have maybe base or one office. These companies are working on ways to interact with each other, how to delegate the jobs more efficiently without the need of interacting directly. And they cater to a range of SMEs in Vietnam. So maybe this is a good time for them to work with the companies to reduce the cost for the company themselves.
For more than a week, Thao and her friends haven't been to the lecture hall. They stay at the dormitory to study online instead. The university's e-learning page makes it easy for them to study by themselves. The lectures are available in PDF and video format.
Giờ ở trên việc online, thầy cô đã đưa ra một cái mục gọi là giải đáp những thắc mắc cho sinh viên. Thì tụi em cũng rất là mừng có cái mục đó. Tụi em không hiểu gì, tụi em có thể lên, tụi em hỏi thầy cô được liền và thầy cô trả lời trực tiếp cho tụi em.
Statistics of Lạc Hồng University show that at the peak time, up to 2,000 students access the university's e-learning page. This figure accounts for nearly 30% of the total student counts.
Giảng viên các khoa là được phép giảng dạy online với cái tỷ lệ là từ 25 đến 30% tùy theo khoa, tùy theo ngành. Nhưng trong mùa dịch này thì cái việc đó triển khai được mạnh mẽ hơn và nhà trường cho phép là các giảng viên có thể áp dụng đến 50% bài giảng online.
In order to improve the quality of online lessons, virtual film studios are utilized by lecturers. Typically, each lecture video only lasts 5 to 10 minutes to ensure students' concentration.
Phương pháp sư phạm số và các công cụ sẽ hỗ trợ cho giáo viên để đạt được điều mong muốn. Và cái điều quan trọng người ta muốn nhấn mạnh đó là các công cụ chỉ là công cụ, phương pháp sư phạm mới là quan trọng.
The majority of lecturers here do not have any technical difficulties in digital lessons. For many students at Lạc Hồng University, the online learning experience was well received because it is in line with their habit of using high-tech equipment and helps them be more comfortable with time.
In today's world, with the level of advanced technology we have, how can we apply technology to help businesses operate in this time of difficulties to really overcome this outbreak, this pandemic?
I think this is a very interesting question because there's no concrete answer for everyone. Sometimes you need to talk a lot and have a lot of meetings. Then you use Hangout or Zoom. So that you can share, slides or things you prepare on screen with each other and with a lot of people. If you are a technology company that needs to do a lot of coding, then again, you need to use GitHub or Monday or applications like that. So you can split up the work and then help people to contribute. If you manage a big company with thousands of employees, then you need to use a lot of applications at the same time. And companies like, again, Base and One Office has, they have this application or a platform of applications for you to use. And sometimes can help with even going out and source customers and find leads. So I think it's going to be a combination of a lot of application and technologies that companies need to prepare themselves with. And I think it's going to be beneficial even after the outbreak or the pandemic itself.
Now, when the pandemic is gone, will this working model or e-learning model remain a big trend in Vietnam?
It will be an uptrend together with a few industries like online education, online shopping, or even e-gaming. Because overall people will spend more time with their computers anyway. People need to find out the way to combine that online experience with offline operation. And I think it's going to be an experiment again in the long run. Because it's hard to sort of revolutionize the way we communicate. Seeing each other is still a benefit, a huge benefit. So I think technology needs to know all this, embrace all the user experience that are involved with direct contact. So it can be embedded in the technology in the future. Then it can be a certain thing. I think it's going to be something concrete for people to use as a certain mean in the next 30 years or so.
In times of the COVID-19 epidemic, the number of online job applicants to Hai's company has increased nearly to 5 times before. From about 10 applicants with direct recruitment, now when she switched to recruiting online, the number of applicants has increased to nearly 50 people per month.
Mình chỉ cần nhận được inbox của ứng viên thôi thì mình có thể là set up ngay.
With millions of users' data, information security is one of the top criteria for choosing a service.
Quá trình mà chúng tôi truyền dẫn tín hiệu thì là tín hiệu đã được mã hóa, và nói về mặt lý thuyết là cái tín hiệu này khi mà thậm chí gói tin là bị bắt trên đường truyền thì rất là khó có thể giải mã được.
In times of the COVID-19 epidemic, many technology units in Vietnam have been trying to research solutions to address daily life needs such as this. That is also considered an indispensable recruitment trend because up to 95% of young people in the age of employment today are using smartphones connected to the internet.
Is it a good way for Vietnamese employees and companies to seize more opportunity during this time?
I strongly encourage companies like internet companies to strengthen their the efforts during this time, because people need to be entertained, they need to work online, they need to learn online, they need to buy online, a lot of things. So it's a huge opportunity for them. And for others, we need to digitalize workplace first before working from home. Even if we sit together, then there are a lot of apps that we can use to make collaboration easier. So let's say One Office again offering a lot of new deals for customers, like 3 months free without signing any contract, or Base is still pushing their programs for different kinds of businesses because they all have different needs. So companies can use this application and pay a small fee or no fee at all during this time, because it's a good time for marketing. So you can start familiarizing yourself with these apps, and then when COVID is done, then you can integrate it with the offline operation you have like normally.
Thank you so much for joining us. What's certain about this trend is that the trend has been ticking up, and a pandemic like coronavirus has the potential to fast-track the move by making it more universally accepted. Creative ways of working are here to stay, and pandemic or not, but the coronavirus may force the transition more quickly than expected. And Vietnamese employees and companies have shown their flexibility in dealing with the situation. This also wraps up this edition of BizLine. In the meantime, you can log on to our official website at vtv4.vtv.vn or download our app VTV Go for more news and updates. Goodbye for now, and thanks for tuning in.